let's turn this guy here into a Dark Angel. Angels are one of my favorite chapter, and I think making dark green Marines is fun. So we need the arc compressor, and I like the black undercoat, and you'll notice this guy is black through and through, and that's very important because we're going to use some of that black. If you're light on primer and stuff, you just go back. Even black on this model, and then we'll use Warpstone Glow, and we'll use Caliban Green, and we'll start with the armor. So we're gonna do, I don't know, 4 papers maybe. I also changed the way my compressor is standing, so it makes a lot less noise, so that's really good. Less like guilty about airbrushing stuff at odd hours. I mean, now it's 6 o'clock, I can do it. Oh, it's a brand new Caliban Green. I do this with all my paint pots. I've said this in another video at some point, but I start all my paint pot with some thinner on them, or almost all of them. Needle was not like fully inserted. Okay, so we'll do the whole armor, and we'll leave some of the black showing. Not a lot, but some of the black showing. Alright, so that's kind of where I want to go with this. So we got like lots of black going through, but it's mostly green. Like nowhere when you look at it, you go like everything is green. And sometimes it's like very dark because there's a lot of black showing through, but it's not like black anywhere. So that's what we want. So we're gonna dump back this, and we're gonna switch to Warpstone Glow. So Warpstone Glow is very like potent, right? Like it's a vibrant green. You can use something like Army Green instead if you want like really like more grim dark, which works really well too. But I like this Moon Green to give it some life, even though it's like a very darker. So I found like a big gunk green. I like to have some life in it, like some. So we'll do a little bit of the same thing that we just did, but much lighter. It should stay mostly Caliban Green, which is a color that we want. So we'll go from the top down. I'm never really going fully down. Green for the Dark Angel, right? Exactly. So here we could stop this, right? So if you want more like quick paint job, we can stop at this stage here for the armor. But we can also go a little bit dark. So what we'll do is we'll get a big brush and we'll get our Nuln Oil. And so adding a coat of Nuln Oil, it will really add to the darkness, right? Because then we get to come back and bring all the darker green in there. You could also do this with green as well, would work, like the green, dark green ink. And this technique here of using Nuln Oil in between colors is, you know, we've done this in a couple of like our darker scheme. It's one of my favorite technique for getting like bright colors into those darker schemes. So we're not using it that much as an actual shade. We're more like a glaze a little bit. So I like this. So you know, now we just get like a little bit darker, but also all of this like on black lining is already done for us. So we're gonna give this just a moment to dry here. It shouldn't take too long because we're not so. And we've kept our Warpstone Glow because that will allow us to get another highlight coat in. It's mostly dry, so we're going to give it like a very thin highlight, right? So I like this. I think it's still, you know, it's still very dark, but we do have a good gradient of colors. I think the biggest difference between this and a salamander is that we get to keep a lot of the black. I think with salamanders, the darker recesses are going to be dark green, whereas this guy here being a Dark Angel, the recesses are all black. So I'm happy with this. We could add extra line highlights if we want to. I don't mind them that much right now. I'm more interested in the other parts of the mini because that will get us an army quicker, and you don't really need to spend extra time on the green for now. On this, you know, if you really love the edge highlights, like you just can't help yourself, you have to do them. So now there's a couple of colors that we want to use here. Maybe we'll start with silver. And silver is an interesting one here because now we get to kind of cheat. So what we're going to do, and this is a cheating part, is we're going to do the eagle in silver. And the reason we're going to do that is this is more for a speed painted army. We'll do a silver because then that kind of speeds up the process and it's not a big deal. So we'll start with the little eagle. So the eagle is always the trickiest part, especially if you glue the guns down. And we could do the entire gun here with silver, kind of pressed for time, or if you really want to save time and just get your green marines on the board, do the gun fully silver, and it will say across the board it will save you a lot of times. Like you think 15 desolation marines and a couple of like. Right now I'm just doing shining silver, so it's the very light silver. We could use some other. I have this one, so. If only Army Painter made their pots like Games Workshop, I would be fulfilled, man. So we'll do Rhinox and Doombull, and the reason is because those are the colors that we're going to use on the base. So we're going to try to kind of come back to match the base and some details on the miniature, so it kind of blends all together a little bit. Pouches are going to be really quick. We'll do these two colors. So we've done a lot of color for brown. If you don't like this one because it's too red, you can just go look at some of the other videos and find a way that pleases you. You could do them black as well. I just like this brown because it's going to go great with our bases. You don't need to commit to this plan fully, especially if you have your own bases and you don't do them like this reddish color. So just quick highlight. You can do a little bit rough because we're going to shade it in a second. The shade will kind of blend all of this together. And then we'll use Incubi Darkness. It's kind of a bluish green, and we'll do the joints with this. So again, we're using this greenish blue and like very dark color to kind of keep everything together and tight. Very tight. Very tight. Much like buttholes. Alright, so now we'll do Nuln Oil here, and we'll do that on all the colors that we just did except the armor, because we kind of already did that. So we'll start on the silver, and on the silver you can go like super heavy, especially if you did the super light silver like we did. Because like silver and black shade are like best friends. So you see now, with the wash, it's definitely done, it's definitely there, it's a different color, but it doesn't like stand out like crazy. So next up, we'll move straight to the red, and the red, ain't nothing better than Mephiston red. So we got a couple of things to do here in red. We'll do the gun. So now's the time to. Let's just give the Nuln Oil some time to dry here. Alright, good practice, dude. See you. Alright, so we'll do the seal, and then we'll do maybe a little bit of freehand, just because we can. Nuln Oil will be dry. So we'll do the eyes as well. So we'll paint an arrow. So arrow is pretty simple to do. You start with a straight line right down the middle of the shoulder plate. And then you turn your arrow into a little cross. Something like this. And then you just kind of thicken up the little line into something, something that you're happy with. And you can do this. So this side here should be the Dark Angel symbol. Now, you should use decals or 3D printed bits. Do not just get 3D custom bits or just use the decals. So the gun can be like a plethora of color, but lore-wise, Dark Angels have red guns. Oh snap! Cool. So I'm happy with this. Now we'll highlight this Mephiston red. No, Evil Sunz Scarlet. We'll highlight our Mephiston with Evil Sunz Scarlet. So we'll do that on all parts that we just did. So gun, eyes, arrow, and the Purity Seal. So let's do arrow first. So I'm not that interested in highlighting the arrow like edge highlights or whatnot. I'm more interested in just doing the same highlight as I did on the shoulder plate. That's the flu. It's almost like all edge highlights and nothing else. And you notice I don't switch really brushes. I have this is a number 3 Winsor & Newton, and I'm just going to do the entire model with it, but obviously feel free to change. And then next up, so we'll do the Purity Seal with Screaming Skull first. So again, this is another thing of like if you did like Deathwing and stuff, I would do the Purity Seal the same way that you paint your Deathwing army. Here. So now we can kind of shade this here just to give it a little almost like black lining, right? Yeah, we just want the seal to be like very. You know what? This is speed painting. We're not even going to use sepia. We're just going to do. Because it does not make a huge difference, right? Like these are small Purity Seals. Like this is a pretty sweet marine. Like I'm really happy with this one right now. There's like a. So it's really fun. Like there's a lot of lists, and there's a lot of lists with the new guys with the like big guns, and the rockets are really played. So it's fun to have a Deathwing, a Green Wing kind of model to do, because a lot of these guys are getting actual play, which has not happened a whole lot in the whole like 40K kind of universe or timeline. Usually, you know, you play Dark Angels because you want the Terminators. So we got this, and I'm happy with this. I don't want to go for a second coat of Nuln Oil. You could if you want a darker look, but I like this. So instead, we're just gonna finish up the base. So the base here, it's airbrushed with Rhinox and then Doombull, and then we're just gonna dry brush something orangey on top of it, like Tau Light Ochre. I like that one. So this is going to be a little bit too orange because it's very steep between this color and Doombull, but that's okay. Nothing a Grok Searchade can't fix right now. You could even do Reikland Fleshshade if you want to go, like keep the orange feel to it. I don't mind the orange, like I don't like it or hate it, so I'll just do a Grok Searchade. Again, bases for this scheme can be like you can have like a lot of things because it's a very dark color, so a lot of colors go really well for this. I like this one, like brown. Brown's a good staple for it, and a little bit of orange in it because orange and green really clash together. City Fight looks really good. Like the only color I wouldn't go is tones of green, basically, for these bases, because it's not that interesting because you have a green marine on top. What we can do now is remove this guy from this base. Thingy from the side of here. Snap fit, but you know. Yeah, this color I'm really happy with. So one last step here before we go is the black rim job. Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty cool scheme. I think, yeah, 45 minutes or so to do this. Obviously, you know, the cool part is because there's so much in airbrush and weighting kind of involved, is if we do like a whole squad or something, it goes like really fast. So it's a very nice, like, easy speed painting scheme for sure. So I like that. And so all we have to do is put it on this little stand here so we can display it to all of you cool people. And then there we go. We have a cool little Dark Angel ready to, you know, avenge the Emperor or wake the Lion or what have you. Pretty stoked with this. He's very dark, but there's still some color to it. We could have done like a squad of 5 probably in an hour 30. You know, a lot of it is airbrush, which scales really well. So yeah, I like this scheme. If you look into an army, you know, kind of over the weekend, I think Green Wing Dark Angels is the way to go.